Hey y'all, it's June the 29th, 2017. I wanted to shoot a video real quick before I get the wheels a turning, alright? Before I go tend to my garden and get all my activities underway. I wanted to take time out to make a short video, and it's sort of on a personal level. I want to tell you about myself growing up. As a child growing up, of course, in America, I was familiar with all sort of different other children going to public school. I would see children with different skin tones than me. I would see children of different shapes than me. I would see children as bigger than me. I would see children as smaller than me. I would see children of different ages. All right, all sort of different people. All sort of different people didn't look much like me. All right. And I would see all these people, and certain questions would come into my brain that, as a child, as an introverted person, I didn't really ask them. I didn't really take them aside and ask them all the questions that I wanted to. So, growing up, I was very confused when it comes to particular things about other people. One of the most confusing things as a child growing up that I thought about and I pondered on is what is referred to as black girls. All right, see the terminology. You know who I'm talking about when I say black girls. Now I don't really buy in all that, and I've made videos about that and everything like that. But these girls who were black, they refer to themselves as black. As I was growing up, what I noticed is a lot of them that I heard, they would put weaves in their hair, they would put wigs on their head, or they would all sort of stuff. They would straighten their hair and stuff like that. And I would wonder why they're doing these things. All right, I would wonder why they're doing the things, but what I was told, or what I gathered, was for whatever reason these young black girls could not grow their hair. All right, and it was very curious to me to note that this was the only human beings on earth who could not grow their hair, and it was just weird. It was an anomaly to me. I didn't understand it, but I just went ahead and accepted it. What am I going to do about it? So I accepted it. Okay, these young black girls can't grow their hair. Meanwhile, I knew of a number of different young girls who were black, or who are referred to as black, and they could grow long hair. All right, they did. All right. In fact, lots of times their moms before school would put like different designs in their hair and tie their hair back and braid it and all that sort of stuff. And I did notice that. And then when I was growing older and older, I couldn't help but think it has to only pertain to these black girls, because as far as black men are concerned, they can absolutely grow their hair, down to the small of their back if they wanted to. So it was all very confusing. What I've been learning more and more recently is the reason in which why these young black girls cannot grow their hair long is because of the absolutely absurd and unnatural things that they do to their hair, such as straighten it, put all sort of relaxers in it, cover it with weaves and wigs and stuff like that. After a while, what that does is it obliterates what's actually natural growing up out of their scalp, and that is what took place. Their hair can grow too, is what I've been figuring out. And I gotta let y'all know, there's a lot of young kids out there like me who assume black girls cannot grow their hair. Come to find out that that's actually not the case. They can grow their hair, but they're totally destroying it for whatever reason. So they're totally destroying it, and you could probably assume it's because they don't like their own natural hair, right? Or for some reason their elders taught them to not like their natural hair, to not appreciate it at all. All right. Meanwhile, I gotta explain to y'all. I listen to all sort of different people who look all sort of different ways. It really doesn't matter to me. All right. But what I had to explain to y'all is, there's been a couple different, just in particular, girls that I've seen on the internet who come on the internet, and I experienced what it is that they had to say because it was very intelligent. Number one, the first one was Kelly Speaks. She's got a YouTube channel called Kelly Speaks, and I was listening to her speak on the dangerous, absolute danger and atrocity that is child support. All right, so that's number one. And then just more recently, I came across a lady by the name of Bernadette Willington, or something like that. She has a Wellington. She has a channel called A Wellington. She also has a channel called Birdie Tree 66. All right, so I came across her, and she was speaking on the dangers involved in teaching little children that black people are slaves all the time. All right, because there's a very serious danger involved in all that. There's an animosity that's built up in young small black children, and they start to feel inferior because it's been pounded down their throat ever since they were in grade school that, you know what, they come from slaves, and before that, you know what, they're just slaves. All right, just get over it. Y'all are slaves, and white people done owned you forever. All right, so that's what they're taught in grade school, which is absolutely just atrociously inaccurate. But so this is what they're taught, amongst other things, also to not like their hair at all. These young black children are taught to not ever appreciate their own hair. All right, so what I got to explain to you about these two ladies who I just told you about is they both have natural hair. They both put their hair in dreadlocks, and it's quite long. All right, and what I want to explain to you also is because you already understand that I'm the most racist person on the internet, that I'm basically Hitler. I mean, people have given me half the comments I've ever gotten probably are about, you know, just how racist of an individual I am, how much of an asshole bastard that I happen to be. And so that being said, what I have to explain to you is I find the dreadlocks on these girls to be absolutely just I don't want to go overboard, but sexy, just so delicious. Just you know what, here's the thing about it. What I got to explain to you is the primitive man in myself. I see thick, luscious hair on a head of a lady, and dude, it just sets off alarms because, you know, my primitive self just has to think fertility. It has to think fruitfulness. I mean, it has to think beauty when it sees very thick hair. Now, me personally, I've experienced the presence of many different ladies. They all didn't have thick hair. Some had hair just like me. All right, but what I have to explain to you is my preference, as racist as I am, is absolutely thick hair. All right. In fact, you know, my ex-wife, she probably had the most thickest hair you ever seen on what you would refer to as a white lady. All right. Just unbelievably thick hair. I'm talking about I had to clean the shower drain like 2 times a week. I never cleaned the shower drain as a child because my hair goes right down, right? My wife's hair, it was unbelievable, dude. And it gave her kind of problems because it was so thick and heavy. Sometimes it would give her headaches and things like that. But anyways, all right. The dreadlocks are just absolutely very, very attractive to even me, and I'm Hitler. All right. So that's what I had to bring to the table is, you know, these young girls, they're being taught to hate how they look in particular. They're being taught to do all sort of makeup tricks to hide their face and all sort of hair tricks to hide their hair and stuff. And what I have to explain to you is that's devastating for your own self-respect, your own self-awareness. It's devastating to know that you have to hide yourself before you leave the house in the morning. Right, you call that white supremacy or whatever you want. I find dreadlocks to be absolutely just so ravishing. Alright, and y'all being told some lies. It's the tribulation. I'll holler at y'all. It's June the 29th, 2017. I'll holler at y'all.